Sometimes independent artists kind of get zoned in that independent grind, and they don't really realize the potential and the capability of who they can be from a worldwide perspective. And then also what does that take? Like what does it take to be worldwide? What is it, even if it ain't worldwide, what does it take to just be like that person in the United States? And it takes a lot. And as they say, the machine. I think I got a lot of that from the machine, as far as like the process and what it really takes.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
Okay. Now, would you say, just from that experience and even kind of hearing what you're saying, so you're saying this is more beneficial for an artist to sign with the label? Because I know a lot of people, they shy away from those 360 deals,
right,
and they don't want
right,
everybody in their pockets. What do you suggest?
right.
What's happening, babe?
Right now, you listening to
Innovative Black Station.
Innovative Black Station. Innovative Black Station.
The place where you can speak your
Mind.
Come on.
Your mind.
Welcome to the Innovative Black Station. Today on the show, we got CEO of Mahrk Technologies, Ivan Davis. What's going on, man?
What's poppin', man? Thanks for having me.
No problem, no problem. Now, Ivan, man, before we get into Mahrk Technologies, give us a little bit of background on yourself. You know, you got a real interesting background. I know you had some time in the working with record companies.
Right,
About 6
right.
years with record companies.
Right.
Give us
right.
a little bit about you.
Sure. I was born and raised right outside of LA.
Okay.
So I'm a West Coast native. But I've relocated with the wifey. We down south now, in Atlanta. But yeah, I mean, in terms of background in the music industry, it's just like everybody else, working from the bottom, up. It just started as an internship. Just joined the workforce right after high school. And I interned. I interned for Universal Music.
Okay.
And yeah, man, I was just shaking hands, meeting folks, getting a lot of coffee for a lot of folks, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, slowly but surely just moving up the ranks, you know what I'm saying? Just going through the corporate world, if you will.
Okay.
And then and I do that during the day. And then at night, I just be in the studio,
Okay.
and I'll be just cranking out records.
Okay.
So yeah, that's, in a nutshell, in terms of the music aspects, that's where that's kind of like my road.
Okay. Now with that experience in the industry, like what have you learned and what are you bringing towards like the Mahrk Technology? How does that incorporate going?
It's funny because there's some elements. But I must say, after I left the label, I created a consulting firm.
Okay.
And so I would say the majority of what Mahrk is today and what I've learned came from my consulting firm. So my consulting firm consisted of several recording artists that I personally consult on their projects. And so, somebody was working on a new mixtape or album, my objective was to give them the best strategy on executing that and launching their album. And so throughout that process, I learned a lot about the independent grind and what that looks like. However, it was, that major label grind that I did also only complemented my perspective on everything.
So you can see both sides.
So I could see both sides, and appreciate both sides, because sometimes independent artists kind of get zoned in that independent grind, and they don't really realize the potential and the capability of who they can be from a worldwide perspective, and then also what does that take? Like what does it take to be worldwide? What is it, even if it ain't worldwide, what does it take to just be like that person in the United States? And it takes a lot. And as they say, the machine. I think I got a lot of that from the machine, as far as like the process and what it really takes.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
okay. Now, would you say, just from that experience and even kind of hearing what you're saying, so you're saying this is more beneficial for an artist to sign with the label? Because I know a lot of people, they shy away from those 360 deals.
Right,
and they don't want everybody in their pockets. What do you suggest?
Right. I think that there's a time and place for everything, honestly. I think there's a time and place for recording artists to be independent, and I think there's a time and place to get involved with the major. I really, really do. Sometimes you'll hear folks just be anti, the label. Like, no, I'm good. But I think at the same time, there are a lot of benefits, one gains from the majors. But I think it's more so beneficial once you become an established artist. You know, when you're not established and you're really just trying to get that traction and have people actually get to know who you are and such, it's obviously better than on the independent side, because then you have a lack of not only resources, but you have like no leverage when you're dealing with a major and no one really knows you. You know, you're not really that well known. So I think it's really about where you're at in your grind and who you are as an artist that's going to be most beneficial.
Okay. Now you just mentioned, you talked about resources,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where Mahrk come in. From
Right,
my understanding, correct?
right.
First off, how did you get that name Mahrk? Before the interview, I asked you. You had the H. I had to make sure it was saying Mahrk. How did you get that name Mahrk? Where did that name come from?
Yeah. So when I was thinking about what this tool I created was to the individual, the only thing I could really like just kept it really was almost like haunting at night was like it's really giving the recording artist a tool to hit their mark in their grind. You know what I'm saying? And that's more or less the origin of it. Now in terms of the way we spell it, we just spell it phonetically. So the way you phonetically spell Mahrk is Mahrk.
Okay.
So that's where the spelling came from. But in terms of like, you know, the defining like origin of it is we're equipping the recording artist the tools for them to hit the mark and not miss the mark.
Okay.
So yeah, which is major because like, you know, if you run, it's not even independent artists either. You could be signed and you could like miss the mark. You know what I'm saying? I done working at the label, you know, been involved with $1 million marketing campaigns, and we missed the mark. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So for us it's really about capitalizing and really just honing in on the fact that we're here to help you hit the mark.
Okay. Now I was browsing the website, and I don't know if it's a mission statement, but I saw a quote. It said, "A beautiful new way to navigate and manage the journey of making an album."
Absolutely.
What do you mean by that?
So, you know, when you're creating, you're in the process of, you know, making an album, there's several things you got to think of. You know, at least for us, you know, there's visual components you got to think of. There's, you know, like quality things that you got to worry about in terms of like what the music sounds like or whatnot. And then also just the management of everything. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of our definition of, you know, providing a beautiful way to organize and navigate the journey of making an album, what we're really trying to encompass in that is that we're giving you a blueprint. Like, this is how you go about creating an album. You know what I'm saying? From getting the right photographers in your life, from getting the right video directors in your life, the right songwriters, producers, graphic design personnel, like everything you can think of that is in the process of making an album, Mahrk will help you substantially in getting that. And so that's what we mean about, you know, assisting you to get to that place in a real elegant and beautiful way that is really ain't never really been done before.
Right. Now, how do you do that? Now, do you have is it like a database, or how do you get those pieces, those components for the artist?
Sure. So, so a lot of it is a lot of relationships that I've established amongst the years. But for the most part, you know, it's really about just having an eye for what is quality. You know, what's quality beats, what's quality songwriting sound like, what does quality visuals look like, you know. So a lot of it is just knowing and kind of picking up and having an eye for that stuff. Again, there's a lot of relationships and stuff. And other than that, then it gets real techy. You know, it's just like it's really about algorithms and all that kind of stuff. And I love to get much deeper, but if I did, it'd be, you know, yeah. So,
right.
But for the most part, you know, in terms of like the main frame of it, it's just a lot of relationships that have been established throughout the years, as well as just having an eye, you know what I'm saying, for quality stuff.
Now, I also read that you take the administrative work away from the artist so they can just focus right on music.
Right.
Would you say would you consider Mahrk like a new age A&R in a sense?
You know what? Yes, absolutely. You know, I say that because the primary objective for A&R is to piece all the puzzles together. You know what I'm saying? Is to get the right studios. Is to get the right songwriters. Is to get the right people that's gonna make the situation the best it could possibly be. Where I think A&Rs, where there's a flaw, if you will, is that they're only one person. You know what I'm saying? And oftentimes, A&R only has a couple artists at that. And that's even at the grand level, you know, at the major level. You know, A&R would have probably no more than like half a dozen artists, you know, because this is a lot of work.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So I think that all in all, it's definitely a modern take on what an A&R would do, and plus a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Okay. Now, has it launched yet, and do you have any? How are people signing up for it?
Right.
What's the process?
Great question. Yeah. So as of right now, it hasn't launched yet. However, we do have a campaign that we've entitled "Be Loyal," and what that entails is that both parties are acknowledging the fact that we're going to be loyal to one another. So as a company, we're going to be loyal to our first 500 artists by providing them access to our private beta early, as well as a very low fixed rate for life.
Okay.
So they can go on the website and check out all the details. But yeah, so that's what that is. But in terms of signing up and such, the best thing they can also do is just get notified. And they could join our Notify Me campaign, which could be found on the website as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now
And
what?
Go ahead.
Now what? Like say if an artist wanted to sign up, once it launch and everything, do you have like a list of the people that's involved? Like, cause people gonna be like, what big names? You know, people would look for things like that.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely got a few Grammy nominated songwriters on the platform. We got some Grammy nominated as well, Grammy winning producers that are involved. We also have like certain photographers that have shot for like some of the biggest names in the business or whatever. So honestly, it's not just like this whole grandiose like database or just a large list of just like people in the industry now, but there's definitely people here and there that are involved in it already. But I think as time goes on, you know, the quality in which that we're striving for is for these people to be utilizing our platform. So yeah, it's definitely not like we don't have mass celebrities on it right now, but there are people who are definitely substantial within the music business, if you will, and they have acknowledged it in a way where it's just like they really feeling it. So
okay. Now you said that with the Be Loyal, as of right now, the subscription is $25.
Yes.
$25 a month.
Yeah. No, it's actually I'm glad you brought that up. So the Be Loyal campaign is a $25 free one-time fee. Just a one-time fee, and you pay $25, and in exchange for that, you get the access to the private beta. We host private events. Particularly, it'd be in all areas, but it's definitely our first area of interest is Atlanta, which is our headquarters.
Okay.
And so we'll have private events. Those private events consist of like the songwriters in which that we just mentioned, producers and stuff. Just really like sit down chats, you know, with them, just kind of like a one-on-one. And so that $25 grants you access to events like that.
Okay.
And then also it locks in that rate to use Mahrk for life for $25 a year.
Okay, so as the company grows, you pay that $25. You want to be loyal, so
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
You pay the $25 and you good.
And you're straight, yeah.
Okay.
So it's definitely, you know, I think we really feel you know, it's an equal exchange. We're very appreciative of those who have already signed up. Again, we're the ceiling on that is 500. We have gotten several dozen already, and so, but yeah, it's a good look. You know, I definitely encourage everybody, because at the end of the day, when you think about $25,
Right.
it's like we spend that on just everyday stuff, whereas you can, you know, get yourself in the company, well, as a member, as a user of the company, early. And then also, again, just lock in that rate, man. This is something you're going to be making records for the rest of your life, you know, if you're a real artist or whatever, or for, you know, many decades or whatever. But the point is to have access to such a tool for just $25 a year, I mean, it's just like that's a no-brainer. At least for me, it would be.
Yeah. Now, as the CEO of Mahrk Technologies, what do you see the company in 5 years?
That's a great question. I definitely feel it's going to be the world leader in project management for recording artists. You know, it's definitely going to be a staple within the music business. It is definitely going to be a tool that is utilized through many channels, if you will, of the music business. So it's not per se just like recording artists. You know, if you're an up and coming photographer that has great work, we're interested in you.
Right.
You know, so there's definitely an ecosystem of sorts that is going to be created with Mahrk. And so in 5 years, I definitely think Mahrk is going to be, you know, within the round table of heavyweights when you're having a conversation of just the music business in general. You know, it's definitely going to be something that people have to visit in terms of acknowledging it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, where can they? When is it launching, and what's the website, and you know all that information for people to find more?
Absolutely, yeah. So you can go to www.mahrk.com. Again, we spell Mahrk MAHRK, and online you can find a lot of more information about the actual like app and the capabilities, the features, and such. And you can go on all our social media is Mahrk app, at Mahrk app, anything. So if it's like, you know, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, just everything is at Mahrk app. All one word, no hyphens, no spaces or anything.
Okay.
And what was the second part you asked me?
When was it launching?
Oh yeah, and we're set to launch the first quarter of 2017.
2017.
Yeah.
Okay.
First quarter. Yeah. So yeah, definitely be on the lookout. Yeah, man, we excited about it.
Okay.
A lot of hard work into it. You know what I mean?
Okay. Before we get out of here, man, any last words you wanna get to the people?
Oh man, I just want to thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, no doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I remember when we just met up. You know, when we just chopped it up, it was definitely something I was like, absolutely.
Right. You told me the idea, and I'm like, man, you know, it's something that the artists need to hear. I feel like it's a good resource that the artists can use. So, you know, I definitely, you know, I thank you for coming in.
Absolutely, yeah. By all means, you know, it was our pleasure. And, yeah, I mean, you know, I think in closing, as a recording artist, you know, it's important that you get it right. You know, dealing with recording artists, working for recording artists for many years, it's a constant grind. And this business is constantly changing. You know, there's a lot of elements. There's a lot of variables at stake, you know. And at the end of the day, I think within the future of music, I mean, it already is in so many ways now, is that you have to be responsible for your own grind, for your own success. You know, and in this digital age, it kind of becomes complex because there's a lot of stuff going on. You know, there's a lot of noise. You know what I mean? Such like within the social media components, within people just like selling you a dream and it ain't really that or whatever.
Right.
And I think in its essence, Mahrk it's just something great to have for a lot of reasons. You know, for one, it allows you to navigate the music business and the complexities of the music business a lot easier, such as copyrights and song splits and all that. You know, there's established recording artists today that are on major record labels that don't know how song splits work. You know, they don't know how royalties work and such. Whereas with Mahrk, you know, we simplified that process in such a way where it's like you can really get it. You know, because it's really not that hard. What makes it hard is like the legal, like all the logistics behind the law behind it, and then all of the money within these labels that are involved. That's what really makes it complicated. But you know, if there's a couple people in the studio, yeah, you know, royalties, publishing, like all that, it really ain't that hard. You know, and it also has to do with contractual agreements that you have with the record label when you sign with them. But that's a great benefit when you're an independent artist. You're not liable, nor are you obligated to be associated with any like other affiliated company. Like you are the company. You are like the entity. So you can move how you want to move. You know. Another thing that comes to mind is the ability to connect. You know, Mahrk gives you access to industry professionals in like 2 taps. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you get some of the best personnel in your city. You know, so it's definitely not something like you get in the name of like you live in LA, but you get in the name of like a great female photographer in New York or something like
so
that.
it leads the artists like wherever they're at, their location
absolutely,
is.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
everything is geolocated. So everything is just really tailor fit and tailor made for you and for your genre of music. You know, so we're not gonna put you in a rock band live setting studio when you're a hip hop artist, or vice versa. You know, you're not gonna be a rock band in a studio that just primarily works with hip hop artists.
Right.
Like you need a live room.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you need bass traps. Like you need there's a lot of things that we have considered and thought about through this process that that artists gain and benefit. So connecting is something that's like major with Mahrk. You get to connect at a level that is really is really not really seen before, honestly.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And I think the last, but certainly definitely not the least, is management.
Yeah.
You know, it's the management component of Mahrk, and it's really the heart and soul of Mahrk. You know, at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that's going on with your project, whether it's your calendar and being on schedule with things, which we take care of, all the way to digital assets. You know, it's like the latest version of the mix, or contractual agreements that you got with particular songwriters, or you know, if you're doing a radio appearance or something like that, like, you know, there's documents within Mahrk that help you understand like really what you're getting yourself into, and then also managing it. So you can kind of look at it like a Dropbox, but on steroids for like musicians. You know, you get a place to just to store all your digital content. You know, all in one place, all in real time.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's Ivan Davis, CEO of Mahrk Technologies, Innovative Black Station.
You gotta reply to tweets. You gotta reply to Facebook messages. You gotta keep them engaged, because there's so much flying at you, so much music being released. It's easy to be forgotten about. And so I encourage artists like, you know, message those who message you, appreciate those who appreciate you. It goes a long way.